Voigtlander, a name synonymous with high quality glass, just came out with a brand new 35mm f2.0 macro lens, and as of the making of this video, it's exclusive to Fujifilm's X-mount system. But it has been announced for Nikon cameras too. I'm no stranger to prime lenses and I have a number of them for my Fujifilm cameras, but this is my first Voigtlander lens and I'm curious to see if this 35mm f2 MACRO APO-ULTRON can live up to the hype. Roll the intro. This is Clembo from ZenTechLife, where we love all things to do with lifestyle tech and gadgets. Before I continue, as always there are timestamps and chapter markers below, so if you want to skip ahead, feel free to do so. As with all the products on my channel so far, I bought this lens with my own hard-earned money. So if you feel like supporting my channel, all I ask is for a quick press of the like button and perhaps even subscribe if you like what I'm doing. With that out of the way, get comfy and let's keep going. Let me start by saying that I'm not a professional photographer by any means, so this review will be coming from the angle of an average consumer, which means I'm not going to be super technical nor scientific about my evaluation of this lens. What I will try my best to do though is give you a general idea of the lens design and also show you some of the shots I've taken with it in the last few weeks. Straight out of camera, completely unedited, except for some light cropping. And yes, I shoot in JPEG because I'm a filthy casual who doesn't have time to color grade photos. Plus, I am a big fan of Fuji's film simulations. Moving on, so what comes in the box? Here's the packaging, which features a simple black and silver color scheme and clear branding to show what's inside, namely the 35mm f2.0 MACRO APO-ULTRON lens. In case you were wondering, the APO label shows that this lens has been specially designed to minimize chromatic aberration, and Ultron is Voigtlander's line of lenses that are typically a bit slower than their Nocton lenses, which hover closer to f1.0. Inside the box there's not a whole lot going on, with just a simple information leaflet, warranty card and a compliance certificate that also has the production date printed on it. August 3rd, 2022 in my case, so fairly fresh off the production line. Disappointingly, Voigtlander or perhaps Casina, who are the parent company of the brand, have opted to use styrofoam inserts, which aren't great for the environment, nor in my opinion provide much of a premium unboxing experience. Regardless, the lens and lens hood can be found sitting neatly inside, and that's about it. No lens pouch or other extras whatsoever, which in all honesty is a bit underwhelming considering its $700 price tag. In contrast, my Viltrox 23mm f1.4, which costs less than half the price at $300, did include a lens pouch, and I'd even argue the packaging felt nicer too compared to the styrofoam of the Voigtlander. Fortunately, the lens itself is not a disappointment. It's incredibly well built and features an all-metal construction, giving it that premium heft that you might expect. Holding this lens in your hand makes you feel confident in the design and build quality of it. The only plastic to be found here is on the lens cap, but otherwise everything else, including the lens hood, is made out of a matte black metal. Markings on the lens are very legible thanks to full colour etchings for all text and numbers. Additionally, both the focus and aperture rings are well grooved and provide suitable texture when rotating them. As with all Voigtlanders, this is a manual focus lens, but also comes with electronic contacts to provide some communication between the lens and camera body, such as EXIF data, aperture info, focus distance indicators, and it even cooperates with in-body stabilization for cameras that offer it. So far, I can confirm that all those things work, along with focus peaking and focus checking, which is especially helpful when wide open at f2.0 aperture. The focus ring itself is silky smooth to operate and has just the right amount of friction and dampening applied to it. I'd go as far as to say that it's the most pleasing focus ring I've ever used amongst all my lenses. The front element of the Voigtlander isn't fixed, but instead extends or retracts when turning the focus ring, becoming most compact when focusing to infinity and longest when set to its nearest focus distance of around 16 centimeters. The aperture ring is a direct mechanical ring that provides satisfying tactile feedback at each of the 1/3 stops, and from the few photos I've taken so far, it can produce a smooth milky bokeh thanks to the 10-bladed diaphragm. Of course, at just 35mm and f2.0 minimum aperture, it's not going to be a bokeh monster, but you'll definitely be able to isolate your subject from the foreground and background. Compared to other prime lenses that I own, it's neither the largest nor the smallest. Here I have it lined up alongside the Fujifilm 16mm f1.4, Viltrox 23mm f1.4, Fujifilm 16mm and 27mm f2.8s. In both physical size and weight, it's right in the middle of the pack, sitting neatly between the Viltrox and the 16mm f2.8 prime. However, due to its all-metal construction, despite the smaller dimensions of the Voigtlander, its weight is just 11 grams shy of the Viltrox, so it's not a particularly lightweight lens. On camera though, it handles really nicely on both the X-T4 and my X-T30. If you own the X-T2, 3 or 4, the all-metal construction pairs extremely well with those bodies, and if you use an additional hand grip on the X-T30 like I do, it also feels well balanced on that. So far, the image quality from this lens has been great, and the center of the frame is very sharp. Again, I'm not much of a pixel peeper, nor am I the right person to tell you about how much distortion or chromatic aberration I'm seeing from the lens, but hopefully some of the images on screen now will give you an idea of what to expect in terms of image quality. Of course, the main feature of this lens, and largely the reason why I chose this over the other 35mm lens from Voigtlander, is the macro ability. I've been considering a macro lens for a while now to help with shooting better close-up shots and to capture the finer details of objects. I could have gone for the native 60mm f2.4 macro or the more expensive Fujifilm 80mm f2.8 macro, but the Voigtlander piqued my interest due to its branding, unusual focal length and compact size. Being a focal length of 35mm, it can function as a street photography lens, whereas the 60mm and 80mm cater more towards portraiture. Personally, my shooting style has always leaned towards the wider focal lengths, so this lens actually fits my style better. It's also small enough to throw in the bag without me overthinking it too much, alongside some other small compact primes. Additionally, its ability to stop down to f2.0 is great in low light conditions, and as I said earlier, provides a shallow enough depth of field to isolate your subject if necessary. However, it's worth mentioning that it's not a true one-to-one macro lens, instead offering a maximum magnification of 1 to 2. Yet thanks to its crazy minimum focus distance of 16 centimeters, you can get in real close to your subject and easily fill the frame of your shot. Of course, coming in that close to your subject has its own problems, such as your own body or the camera itself sometimes casting a shadow over your subject. So I can see why most macro lenses are typically on the longer end. However, when you do manage to control the lighting, it can capture some lovely macro details that would definitely not be possible with other 35mm primes. I've prepared a montage of shots to give you an idea of the macro performance. But just before that, here's a word from our sponsor. Right now, Atlas VPN is offering a killer deal where you can get 3 years of online protection for just $1.99 per month. How can Atlas VPN help you? Well, not only does it keep your web searches and browsing private, it also blocks malicious links, ads and trackers, and notifies you if it detects something is trying to steal your data. It also allows you to unlock media content from all over the world. Say you want to check out the Netflix library offered in other countries. Well, Atlas VPN has you covered. You can even save some money by using Atlas VPN when shopping around for flights, hotels, and even online subscriptions. Due to regional pricing, you could save hundreds of dollars on popular services such as Spotify Premium, NBA League Pass, and more, all with a simple click of a button on Atlas VPN to switch between regions before paying. There's no better time to join the 6 million users who have already chosen Atlas VPN to protect their private data, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. 3 years at just $1.99 per month, link in the description box below. And a big thanks to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Are there any other downsides? Well, I haven't really put it through its paces, but for one, it's not weather sealed. So if you frequently shoot in harsh weather conditions, this might not be the lens for you. Of course, it's also a purely manual focus lens. If you're used to relying on autofocus, it will take you a bit longer to capture those shots. Additionally, I learnt the hard way that it actually focuses beyond infinity, meaning most of my first few shots that I took with the focus ring locked to infinity were instead out of focus. This is not something I was expecting, but now you know, hopefully you won't make the same mistake that I did. So wrapping up, what do I think of this lens? Voigtlander has a reputation to live up with its lenses, and this one is no different. The construction of the lens is truly fantastic thanks to the high quality materials, design and handling. It literally makes you want to get out there to take photos, whether that's street photography or macro shots. It's a jack of all trades type of lens, not best in any class by any means, so don't expect image quality to beat the 23mm or 35mm f1.2 Noctons. Having said that, it's also no slouch and also offers a functional macro feature. As for who it's for, if you tend to prefer a highly specialized glass that provides phenomenal performance in its given category, this probably won't be for you. But if you're looking for a compact, well-built manual focus lens that can do a little bit of everything and do it fairly well, then you should definitely give this a second look. As for me, I don't have any other lens like it, so I'll definitely be keeping my copy, and I look forward to using it as much as I can in the coming years. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about this all-round macro lens from Voigtlander. Do you think it fills a gap in the market, or are you left a bit confused by this lens? Start a discussion below by leaving a comment. Also, if you liked my content, I'd really appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more content from me, then consider pressing that subscribe button too. Anyway, as always, be well, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.